Bruce Graham, author of Belmont Avenue Social Club, which is going to close the old theater. We're standing in the new theater at the moment, and I can't wait to see it because the old theater just fits the play perfectly. The play itself actually was written about 1990, but it takes place in 1985, and in my head it started actually back in the 70s. I was a stand-up comedian and belonged to a volunteer fire company, so we had someplace to drink after all the bars closed. And we're in there one night, and the place was all like this. Everybody's all nervous because somebody, it was an all-white club, and somebody brought in a black guy as a guest, and they were freaked out. And I thought it was really kind of interesting, the paranoia that went along, that, oh my God, somebody brought in somebody different. And then years later, I was living in Ridley, over by the airport where I grew up, and belonged to a Republican club, only because it kept me out of jail a couple times, and you could drink for free, at 4 in the morning. Although I'm a Democrat, they didn't bother to check. And same thing happened at a meeting, but it's the 80s, so they were more delicate about it. But I thought, wow, this is, come on, it's 15 years later, shouldn't we be over this? And was cutting the lawn one day, and never started playing until I knew the end of the first act, and went and ran in the house, sweaty and nasty, and wrote out the end of the first act, and now I had a play. And one of the things about the play is that, you see some people who like to espouse racism and stupid ideas sitting in bars. They don't scare me as much as the ones who wouldn't be caught dead saying something like that, but still have the same basic feelings, the same basic hatreds, the same basic prejudices, whatever you want to call it. And that's what I wanted to look at. The characters, for me, plays are about characters, and movies are about plot and action and car crashes and things. But if you go in to see a play and you don't care about the characters, you're not interested in the characters, I'm ready to leave at intermission. And the characters for Belmont Avenue, once I had a story, were a breeze to write because I kind of knew them. I kind of grew up with them. At the age of 35, I was still living on the street where I grew up. I was 8 blocks from my parents' house. I'm not big on change. So when you live someplace for 35 years and then keep going back there even after you move, you get to know the people. And possibly the nicest thing that people have said about this, or maybe it's not so nice, is that no matter what city it plays in, people recognize it. It was a huge hit in Chicago, where they kind of gave it a Chicago slant, and everybody recognized these characters. So I think the characters are hopefully, although some of them are not, the greatest people in the world, universal. People have to recognize them, and they have to laugh at them and laugh with them, and you have to have someone you care about through the play. And I think the character of Tommy is, if there's an author's spokesperson, it's Tommy, who appears in the first act one way and appears in the second act a totally different way. And I also added a pool table, which some directors look at and love, and some directors look at and absolutely hate, because there's no way you can direct actors around a pool table. You can't say sink the 8 ball and then move over here and sink the 9 ball, unless you've hired Willie Moscone or somebody. You can't do that. So it lends itself to a lot of improvisation. And when we first did the play, the actor who played Chicky, who I actually sort of wrote the part for, a guy named Rick Calitti, was almost like a pool hustler. And in the final line of the play, 99% of the time, he'd do the last line and sink the ball. Now, I'm not asking actors to do that, but it just added a real nice little punctuation point at the end of the play. And plus, it gives the author something to do during rehearsals. When I'm bored, I can go up and shoot a couple rounds of pool. So it's Belmont Avenue Social Club here in Camden, my first production in Camden. And we open in February 2010. I'll be here. I think it's a play. It might get you mad. It'll definitely make you laugh. It won't bore you. So come on out and join us.